channel. My name is Rudy and I am so happy you are here. Thank you so much for joining me today. There's a lot of new makeup out, you guys, and honestly, some of it I'm very excited about and some of it I'm feeling very blah about, and I thought that we were due for a new makeup roundup and just to talk about kind of what's new, what's trending in the industry, and some products that I truly think could be new holy grails for me and some that I am a little disappointed in. It feels like it's been a slower summer, which typically summer is a slower time in terms of makeup releases. Everything kind of ramps up in the winter and particularly in the spring season, so I really am trying to be very picky about the products that I use and keep in my routine, and I am having the need to go on a declutter journey again. I feel like we literally just did this video like 6 months ago, which isn't true because I was pregnant when I did it and my baby is 6 months old, but somehow, some way, we're back to having too much stuff. And honestly, I think I'm gonna be even more ruthless this time because what I'm realizing is, like, for example, here are all my lippies here. I'm like, I love this formula, so I need to have every shade. I don't think that's how that works. When the truth is, like, I love this formula, let's just keep the shades that you like. Like, I will never wear this shade from Rhode. It's like so bright pink. Why do I still have, you know what I mean? Anyways, that will be for another video, but let's talk about new makeup. Let's get into it. If you're new here, like I said, my name is Rudy. We talk about skincare, makeup, hair care, body care, a little bit of motherhood, decluttering. We kind of do old YouTube with newer style products, so if that sounds like you, I would love to have you subscribe. Now we are going to be talking about a lot of new products today. I wanted to kind of do the opposite at the beginning of this video and thank Beekman 1802 for sponsoring a portion of this video to talk about their Bloom Cream Daily Moisturizer. Beekman 1802 Bloom Cream, 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 Bloom Cream. This is the opposite of a new product that I first tried out this year. I have been using this moisturizer since March 2021 and I used it for the first time on this channel. I was in my old house, my hair was long, I was in my bedroom filming on my bed, which is crazy, and I talked about their moisturizer and how much I liked it, and I have talked about it over and over since then. I have used this product for years, and if you haven't tried it, I think by the end of this you're gonna want to. I already have a layer on, but I'm gonna put a little bit more on because I've been sitting here for a while. This is one of my favorite moisturizers of all time for multiple reasons, but it tends to be the one that I always go back to after my skin is irritated or I've tried way too many products, aka this video. So the reason that I personally love it is for not only the ingredients, which I'll talk about, but the feel. This is in between a lotion and a cream, so it's perfect for literally all 4 seasons, but as I'm getting into the summer, it melts into my skin instantly and leaves you with a lasting glow that doesn't feel oily, and in the winter, it really does fortify the skin and leaves it plump and supple. It's really magical. I don't know how they do it. It was also created to mimic the natural skin barrier, so it sinks in, it leaves a beautiful glow, it hydrates, it plumps with glycerin, amino acids, goat milk. It's so cute. It literally makes a flower and blooms when you use it. And I want to say that Reed and I have gone through tens of these moisturizers in the full size, the maxi, and the mini. There is a Bloom Cream for you. If you've not tried this, I highly, highly recommend, particularly if you are someone with sensitive skin or you're just looking for that holy grail moisturizer that you know you can always trust and go back to. Bloom Cream will be your girl, and thank you so much again to Beekman 1802 for sponsoring portion of this video. Okay, let's do a little zoomy zoom and get into this. We're gonna be talking about a mix of high-end and drugstore, and we can kind of talk about some things that I've used on shorts and the ones I haven't. Whatever, I'm gonna make sure you get what you deserve, okay? Which is a good video. So I obviously just primed my skin with the Bloom Cream, but I wanted to talk about a new mist that we have that I am obsessed with. So like I said, some of these products I've tried and I have an opinion on, and some of them I haven't, which hopefully by the end of the video I will. But this is new from Colfi, and this is their Keely Glow Mist, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I freaking love this, okay? This is made in Korea. It is, I think, a biphase toner. If you leave it alone, it does have a little layer on top similar to actually the Beekman milkshake, but I think it's a little bit less oil than the milkshake has, which I kind of prefer for the summer. This has been my go-to after I'm done doing my skincare, particularly on days where I'm not wearing any makeup. It has a really, really nice mister, and it has a slight scent, maybe like a slight floral scent, but it has not irritated my skin whatsoever. It leaves a beautiful glow, and it just makes my skin feel plump and juicy and dewy, and that's kind of what I'm going for this summer because my skin has never been so dry. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you've been following me for a while, my skin has completely changed from when I first started my channel 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I had incredibly acne prone skin that was pretty oily, and as the years have gone on and I went on tretinoin, I turned 30 and then I just had a child 6 months ago, my skin is now dry. Okay, dry, dry, dry. And it is so frustrating because all of the techniques and the things that I've done and the way I treated my skin in the past does not apply anymore. So I'm still trying to figure out how to fully handle my dry skin, and I'm sure it will change once I start weaning with breastfeeding. Like, being postpartum, your skin is just a mess. So just keep that in mind as we're going through all of these products, and I will let you know how I'm using them on my skin right now. To start, I already have my brows done. There are no new brow products on the market right now, but we're gonna start with the new Refy Skin Base. I have mine in shade 150N, which is a perfect shade match for me. And as you can see, like, I've already used maybe like a fifth of it, and I've only worn it like twice. So I do have a short on this if you did see it. This has incredibly light coverage. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons. I love this packaging. I know some people really don't like it because they think it's messy, but I like the fact that I can dunk my brush or my sponge in here and not have to use my hands and get them dirty. I am going to use a brush for this because when I used a sponge, I literally had to use 4 or 5 pumps to get the coverage that I needed. I am dealing with some breakouts right now, general redness on the skin, nothing new, but I literally just take my little brush and go on top, and I just love that. I think that Refy does such a good job of making innovative packaging. Like, their products are just so interesting. All of their components are one of one and very unique, and as someone who makes beauty products and tries to find unique aspects to their components, I really like that. So this is a similar consistency to like a lotion. It is super lightweight and very watery feeling on the skin without being too thin, which I can appreciate. I don't tend to jive well with super thin coverage. I think that super thin liquidy coverage tends to cling to dry patches, so I like something with a little bit of body, and I do feel like that is what this is. Very hydrating on the skin, which I also really like. Just think that the coverage is so minimal that this is really for the type of person that already has nearly perfect skin. But on days where I just want a little something, I think it's a great addition. This does not have a sunscreen in it, and this is one side done versus the other. So you can see it has a really nice glow. It did even out the skin tone here, but you can still see that redness that I typically have on my face and my chin. So I've already used a pump and a half on just half my face. I'm gonna do a full pump for the other half as well, which is a lot of product. I typically don't use that much product for a base, but that's what you gotta do to get the coverage on this. All right, here is the finished coverage with 2.5 pumps, I think. I mean, we've definitely gone up, but I really like this. I think it's beautiful. I think it's really just a matter of what level of coverage you're willing to go down to, and if you have to pinpoint and correct things on top, if that's gonna bother you, how much time you have to do your makeup. If you're someone who just likes to put on a little light layer and go, this is a great option. But also, if you're someone who likes to put on a light layer and go, why not get something with sunscreen in it to help protect your skin as well, so you're kind of breaking down those steps. So I like it. I don't think that I will repurchase this, honestly. I think that my Summer Fridays is a little bit more coverage and generally lasts a bit longer, but I really do like it, and I think that it is a beautiful finish for dry skin. Feels very hydrating, feels very light. But as I mentioned, we're gonna have to cover some more of this with our concealers. There are 2 new concealers that I wanna talk about that I actually am really liking, both of them. First up is the Patrick Ta Major Skin Soft Blur Brightening Concealer. I wear mine in shade Light Peachy Neutral 2. This might be my favorite concealer of 2026. This is beautiful, and I was super surprised, you guys, because I feel like Patrick Ta tends to be full coverage vibes, like medium to full coverage with more of a matte finish. That's kind of what I figured he would do for a concealer, considering he does not have any other concealers. And boy, was I wrong. Like, this is stunning. Point blank, this is so beautiful. It's like a medium coverage concealer with a glowy, dewy finish, and not so dewy that like you're looking greasy under your eyes, but just healthy. You know, it's really hard to find a concealer that has medium coverage and gives you glow because typically lighter coverage concealers are the one that have the glow, which is great. But sometimes you just want a bit more coverage, but you don't want a drying formula. And I love it so much. I have been reaching for this ever since it came out. I've been using this over my About Face, which I also obviously love so much. I feel like they're a little bit similar, but the About Face has a thicker formula. So if you like a more thick consistency, but I am hard pressed to find something I like more than this one right now. It is just the perfect consistency for my skin type. It does obviously leave a little bit of crepiness under the eyes just because it is a glowier formula, but you're not gonna find a concealer that doesn't do that. No matter what they say, like if you have wrinkles under your eyes, your concealer is gonna go in it. It's just the way it is. And I think we need to learn to accept that that's just marketing language and find the finish that works best for our skin types instead of worrying about if things are gonna crease, because guess what, they are. Now my other option that I wanna talk about is new from Ilia, and this is their Skin Blur Serum Concealer. They have a hydrating concealer that I actually really, really like. It's not quite as good as the Patrick Ta, but similar vibes, thicker coverage, hydrating. But this is their blurring concealer, and I was very curious about what that was going to mean for them because it's Ilia, like they're a light coverage kind of brand. It's kind of the best of both worlds. It gives you a blurred out finish to the skin, but it doesn't leave your skin looking dry and flaky, which is what I'm looking for when I need to cover my redness, irritation, acne, whatever it is. I want something that has more of a blurred finish, but I don't want to look like I have this contrast in my face where everything's glowy and then I have these really high coverage points on my face that are matte, you know, like that just doesn't work. So I've had a hard time finding a concealer like that that makes sense with the kind of makeup that I like to do, and it is definitely this one. It doesn't look dry on my skin. I can use a brush or a sponge with it depending on how much coverage I need, and it's just really beautiful. I think if you feel like your under eyes are oily particularly, but you don't want a super matte full coverage look, try this out. I think that it is an innovative product and one of my favorite launches from Ilia, and I like that they went in that direction. See what I mean? Like that covered that area so beautifully without making it look like I took a big glob of like the NARS Soft Matte Concealer and just popped it on there. Is it going to last as long? No, but it's gonna look way more natural and it's gonna fade a lot more natural than trying to do that again, like matte full coverage concealer with a glowy base. They just don't jive. They don't jive. Okay, so for cream bronzers, we have two options and I think I'm gonna use the newer one. So first off, we have the Westman Atelier Sun Tone Bronzing Cream. I have mine in Soleil Parfait 1, which is their lightest shade. I have a review of this on my shorts, so I'm not gonna use this one today, but suffice it to say, I really, really like this. I was saying that this is similar to the Makeup by Mario Bronzing Balm consistency, but it has a satin to matte finish. So if you're oily and you like a lighter look to your makeup, the Ilia concealer with the Westman Atelier, like that will be your combo. So I will link that short down below just so you can see it, but these literally just came across my desk today, so I thought we had to try them. These are the Fenty Sunstalker Souffle.
The names on these damn products.
Sunstalker Souffle Pressed Mousse Cream Bronzer. Y'all, similar to Patrick Ta, this is the name on the concealer. Major Skin Soft Blur Brightening Concealer. Give me a break. Anyways, these look stunning, like absolutely beautiful. They are this domed, like pressed domed souffle bronzer. My guess is that these are going to be a cream to powder. I have not put my finger in them yet. Let's do it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, this feels similar to the Westman, you guys. All right, so this is the shade Maple Glaze. Oh, I like this. And this is the shade Churro Twist. They are very, very warm. Very, very warm. And then I will swatch the Westman Atelier next to it just so we can see the consistency. Guys, I haven't played with makeup like this in so long. I'm having a blast. I've just been away because my child is 6 months old and it's freaking hard out here, you know? I love him so much, but wow. Wow, it's hard being a mother. Okay, so this is the Westman duo here. You can see it has more of a neutral undertone. And then these are the new Fenty. I think I'm gonna go for the deeper shade because this looks straight up yellow, peepee yellow. I do tend to like a sort of like cream to powdery type bronzer just because I don't want my whole face to be glowy. I do like, for example, the Makeup by Mario bronzer, the Semi Haze bronzer balm, but it can start to like fade the rest of your makeup because it's so oily, or it's so hydrating. Literally, I'm milking into my shirt. Postpartum! I am using the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A507, which is like my favorite bronzer brush. It is a sort of domed, angled brush. All right, let's do this thing. I'm kind of scared because that shade was quite warm. I also thought it was interesting that this doesn't have a mirror on it. Seems unlike Fenty. Oh yeah, that is really warm. Which, you know, it's a bronzer, but there can be a difference between a bronzer that gives you a natural warmth and the one that gives you a artificial warmth, which can kind of look orange. It's crazy because in the pan, you would not think that at all. But I think it's the pan itself. You gotta like take away the pan and really look at the color because it is giving a bit orange. Did I mention that? I think it's orange. Damn. Because I really like this consistency. It's really unique, but she ounge. This is just never gonna look natural on my skin because that's not the color that I tan. So, you know, I'm just gonna stop there and go into the Westman one and show you why I like it. Also, I think that from feeling these with my fingers, the Westman one is a lot more hydrating, even though it is more matte. It has a more natural feel to it that makes it easier to blend. You can go back and forth between the two of them and it just looks more natural than that one. I don't know, I didn't like that as much as I was hoping that I would. I also found it a little bit hard to blend because it was actually quite hard, the pan. Like it looks squishy, but it's actually not. I think it's just, you know, put in that way. But this, I can just like get the perfect amount of pigment by just dotting between the two and just kind of go crazy. Like what I had recommended and said was like, you really can't mess up with this bronzer, and I like that. I like that I can just toss it on and don't have to worry if I've overdone it because it's not overly pigmented and the shade leans more neutral, so it is always going to look good. See? Like, I can still feel like I can see some of that orange underneath, but it looks much more natural. It is so expensive. So expensive. And I also saw Gloria post about it that it has the deepest shade range obviously does not work on super deep skin tones if you look on the website, which is pretty frustrating because I think that's something that usually happens with Westman, but it is a beautiful formula. I'm sad about these. I was really excited about them. So the way that I've been doing my makeup recently has been all of my creams besides blush and then powder and then blush. That doesn't make sense. I do all my this and then I do a powder and then I do my cream blush on top to bring life back to the cheeks because I've been so dry. I don't want to like continually layer more products than I need to because it does start to look super dry on my skin. I've even really started avoiding powder altogether recently, which is crazy because I usually like to at least powder my under eyes. But I do have a newer powder that I have been loving. This is from Versed. I'm gonna do a like full face of Versed. I have a playlist where I have like full faces of different brands. Those videos do super well for me and I have almost every product from Versed, so I thought we could do that considering they've changed so much as a brand from when they first came out in like 2020. So they actually did a full rebrand. They were basically just skincare and then they moved into also having makeup products. Versed is owned by the same founder as Merit, so a lot of their products have a similar vibe and they are a fraction of the cost. So this is new from them and this is their bright smooth finish brightening setting powder, and it is a two-toned powder. This one is their lightest shade and it comes with like a more yellowish tone and a pink tone. The packaging is super cheap. It's like plastic and there's no sifter that separates the two. All of the powder is one, so it kind of mixes into like a light yellow, a slightly pinkish yellow shade. It has also a tiny bit of a shimmer to it, similar to the Say Beauty setting powder. That's like what I can equate this the most to, where it has this sort of sheen that sits on the under eyes, but it doesn't look like glitter. I typically don't like a little shimmer under the eyes, but I have barely noticed it with this, and I love this. So I'm actually going to use a new sponge too. This is from Rare Beauty, and this is their new sponge that came with their matte foundation. and I just go in to try and find more pink than yellow, and I just put this straight under the eye from my sponge. I find this to be the best way to get a perfectly smooth under eye without getting powder everywhere else, because it really just sits on top of the sponge. But what was I saying? I wanted to say something. Oh, Rare Beauty. So people had been asking me about the new Rare Beauty matte foundation that came with this sponge, and I decided not to review it because I don't like matte foundations. I never have. And so I just don't think it makes sense for me to review it because I know I'm not gonna like it. Does that make sense? Like, that's not, I think people don't really come to me for reviews for full coverage matte foundations. Like, that's not my shtick. It never has been. So it just made more sense for me to use the energy I have on products like this that I would use on a day-to-day basis than to just review something knowing that it's not gonna work for me, you know? So I don't know if it's any good. From what I've seen, it is incredibly mattifying. So just keep that in mind. All right, this is what the under eyes and a little bit of the chin looks like with that powder. It is undetectable, but gives you like a really nice mattified finish without being too matte. I love it, and I love that it is inexpensive as well. I would recommend it personally. I do have a friend online though who hated it, so TBD. Everybody likes something different. Also, at the beginning of this video, I did use the Rhode Peptide Lip in the caramelized banana. I have been obsessing with banana scented stuff recently, like banana coffee, banana lip treatment, banana bread, everything I can. And it sucks because Juliet Had a Gun came out with a banana scent and it was horrible. I don't know that I want to smell like a banana, but I love banana treats, and this actually smells really, really good and not like banana runts. It smells like a true caramelized banana. I like it, and if you like that formula, you'll like it. Okay, I'm already starting to feel dry, even though I've barely put any powder on because my skin is so dry. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of this Kulfi spray. Yeah, it smells lightly of maybe like lavender. I don't think it's lavender, but something similar to that. But with that being said, it has not irritated my skin at all, and it doesn't disrupt your makeup. So you can use it in between steps, at the beginning, at the end, whatever. Okay, so for blush, we have two that I wanted to talk about, but one that I want to use. These are brand new from Versed. They're not out yet, and they're not going to be out until the end of the month. But I have an entire review on them on my shorts that, again, I will link below. These are the best blushes of the year, in my opinion, and for me and my skin tone, okay? Let me put that out there. These are their complexion colors. Right now it comes in 4 shades, and every single shade is meant for light to medium skin tones, and they are absolutely stunning. Like, they are these perfect in between, like a beige, a brown, a terracotta, an amber, a pink, like that kind of color that I used to go for or usually go for, but is incredibly hard to find, particularly at the drugstore. They did it. Absolutely feral about them, and they basically are similar to the Makeup by Mario bronzer formula, but in a blush, which they also have. Makeup by Mario has that in a blush, but the colors aren't good. These colors are absolutely phenomenal. But because I've already reviewed those, and again, I'll link that down below, I want to talk about these. Okay, these are brand new from Kosas. I mean brand spanking new, also not out yet. These are their Impressionist sticks, and these are all stunning. Okay, stunning. I am so happy about this because Kosas, I feel like they went through a period where they didn't know who the hell they were. Period. I'm not sure why, but it felt like launch after launch after launch, they were putting stuff out that was like, what are you doing? Like, the powder's amazing, the foundation really good, the concealer really good, and then they made these lip liners that were super dry and cracked off. They ended up sunsetting those. They just made this highlighter that I literally put in my fails because it is so chunky and like 2016 highlighter, which I feel like Kosas would never do. Like the OG brand that I loved so much when they first came out, it just felt like they had strayed so far from that. And these make me feel like they're starting to come back to it, and it makes me so happy. I know there are more shades than the ones that I got, but the ones that I got are perfect. So these are the ones you need to get. This is a lip and cheek product. This is in the shade Surreal. This is in the shade Muse. I mean, look at these, you guys. And this is in Nuance. They're perfect. They're perfect. I have used these on my lips and my cheeks, and they worked great for both. Surreal kind of looks like Toasted Teddy. Let's do a little Dupiana and see, just to be sure. Because I feel like that's the shade everybody loves from Rhode. Oh, I think it's even deeper. Okay, T. Yeah, so there's Surreal, and there's Toasted Teddy. And you can see that it's quite a bit shinier as well. It has more of that like dewy finish to it. Gorgeous. I have been using the shade Nuance on my cheeks, and it just is this beautiful beigey tone. But I'm gonna take a little bit of that and Surreal, and then we'll put Muse on the lips when the time comes. And I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 109. And these actually, even though they are dewy, they actually do kind of set. So I would recommend, and I don't mean set like matte, but they just like, they have a base that kind of does set down, which I like for a cream blush, by the way. But I would just either go in on your hand and then pick up the pigment with a brush, then put it straight on your face, because I think you'll have an easier time blending it that way if you do light layers instead of going in and hope that you can get like this giant stripe to blend out. Which I think this formula is really unique in that way, that it does look natural and dewy, but it lasts. It leaves a base layer on the skin that does stay, and that can be hard to find with more dewy blushes. And of course I'm going way overboard and doing the sunburn effect, as I always do, but don't worry, we'll fix it, we'll get there. When I love a color, I'm like, wow, I want to wear this everywhere. I'm getting videos from my nanny. And Raleigh's playing with his friend. It's so cute. So yeah, as you can see, I was really going at this, and you can still see that base layer. So I'm super impressed with these. I'm very happy that Kosas is finding their voice again, you know, and really just sticking to what they know, which is like really good skin loving basics. I feel like they went out on a limb and were like, let's do crazy stuff. And I was like, your Kosas family and the people that buy your products, we don't want crazy stuff. We want really good basics that are good for your skin. And I feel like that's what they're heading back to. Whenever I feel like I go overboard on my blush, I just take my concealer brush and just kind of tap over it. Okay. Next up is a product that I have not talked about yet, that I'm very excited about, that I like, question mark. I like. This is new from About Face, which I love About Face. We all know this. This is called their Ballet Beam Highlighting Pearls. And this is in the shade Pirouette. And it is this freaky little palette that has 9 different shades in it. And you basically mix your brush all throughout it, and it gives you a really beautiful, sheeny highlight that's not too over the top. None of these have glitter in them. And if you wanted to, you could just use a specific quadrant of this for your face. There's a blue. I've been just going along the outside because I don't like a blue highlight, but let's just like do a full mix for the video's sake. And I'm going to use Dark to Dark. Yeah, I'm gonna use this setting brush from Real Cosmetics. I have felt all of these individually. These are a cream, okay? So they're not a powder. They're like a cream product that kind of is maybe like a cream to powder. And I think it's really unique and interesting. I'm not sure that I'm absolutely in love with it more than I would be like the Stay Glowy Super Gel or like a more liquid highlight that I think tends to look more natural on the skin, particularly on dry skin. But I like the innovation. The other thing was, I was like, are we liking this because it's unique and different and quote unquote innovative, but also does this look and feel like something you would get at Claire's? That's just food for thought, you know? Like, yes, it's cool and different, but is it cool and different because we've deemed it cool and different, or is it actually cool and different? You know, like, it is beautiful. Like, I actually think the answer to that question is it is different and it is nice, but it really just, you know, I think it takes the right marketing for people to say something like this is cool and different, because if it was like a Hannah Montana palette, people would be like, oh, that's cheap kids makeup. You know, so like just making sure that you think critically about innovation for innovation's sake. And you know, I like this. I think it is really cool and unique and makes sense for Halsey's brand. But you know, if this came from any other brand, I think I might be like kind of giving gimmick, you know, but it's beautiful. Look at it. The fact that it is a cream and it still gives you that really nice luminosity is hard to do. So I'm gonna say like it is a good formula. I don't know that you need it unless you are someone who likes to play with interesting products and interesting makeup, which you probably do if you're watching this. So it is pretty. I like it. I think there's a lot of ways to use it, and I'm always happy to see new sort of innovation on the market. But it is like, you know, I'm just saying. And I'm gonna take my sponge and just go over things a bit. All right, we lost a little bit of our blush, so I'm gonna go in and show you what some of these blushes from Versed look like so you can see why I'm so obsessed with it. This is in Canyon, which is a terracotta pink. Absolutely beautiful. I'm not kidding when I say this, and this is a huge statement to say, okay? I think I could throw away all of my blushes and just keep these and I would feel fine with every single look that I can make with these. I'm not kidding. I would love a little bit of a deeper shade, like more of a toasty terracotta-y shade. There is one that's deeper, but it's not deep enough by any means, but that's how much I like these. Crazy work. All right, while we're here, let's add a few freckles. If you're missing the freckle pen, I know, me too. I was not expecting her to sell out when she did. We are currently sold out for multiple reasons, which I've talked about. Currently, because of the war in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz being closed, we do not have access to oil as frequently as we used to, which means that manufacturers have issues getting oil to make plastic, which is what makeup components are made out of, which obviously that is not like the top priority when it comes to opening the Strait of Hormuz, but just to show you the trickle-down effects of war, that's what's happening. We're hoping for July for it to be back, and for second reason, which is that we are getting new caps. Brand new caps that will not pop off of your products, okay? I know how important that is to everyone, so just know that when it does come back, hopefully in July, you'll have it for a long time and it won't pop off. And we are also updating the cap for the lip liner stains, so not just for Berry Freckle Pen. All right, I've got no new mascaras to report, so I just threw on Chocolate Dripped. Let's get into lips and then wrap this puppy up. Okay, so for lips, I don't have a new liner, but I have new liner shades. These are an expansion of the signature lip liner from Merit Beauty, and they're stunning. They're absolutely stunning, and you're like, why do you sound so upset? And I'm like, because they don't last on your lips. It makes me so annoyed because they are so beautiful and they're so good at finding these like incredible shades that work on mature lips and just unique, beautiful neutrals. Like, look at these. They're absolutely stunning. This is shade June, this lighter brown. Then Subconscious, Cowboy, and Cassis, which is this more pink shade. I love them, okay? I think the shades are beautiful, but here's the problem with Merit Beauty lip liners. Gone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. No more. Oh, I sneezed and my lip liner is completely gone, okay? It took me 2 seconds to wipe that clean off my hands, even a deep shade. It's very frustrating, and I know that some people actually prefer that, and it's funny because I think that Merit has really put themselves in a scenario where they're like makeup for people who don't like wearing makeup, and that's great, but then they don't put longevity at the forefront of their formulas because of that, because they know that these people don't mind if it falls off or comes off their face. I mind, okay? Why am I spending money on something that's not gonna last me through talking, you know? I'm gonna put the shade June on the outside of my lips as like a lip contour, and then I'll be back because I can't talk and do it at the same time. This is the only shade that I would even slightly think about recommending you to buy, because if you put it outside your lip line, it might last a little bit longer on your lips. If you put it on your actual skin, but chances are it probably won't. These could certainly be used all over the face. Like, you could use this to contour the nose because it is this like nice neutral brownie shade. But I just find it hard to want to pull these out, which is so frustrating because I love the colors. I love so many of the colors of this line. But I think if I want to enjoy using them, I have to start thinking of them as more of like a multi-stick than a lip liner. And I'm gonna take the shade Subconscious and do it on the actual lips, and then we'll talk about this gloss that's stupid. A truly stunning color. Okay, so the gloss that's stupid. This is so frustrating to me. This is new from Ole Henriksen, and it is their Pow Preserve lip treatment. Where have you heard that before? Except for this is in a freaking chiller version, okay? They released like 4 new ones. Mind you, this is my favorite formula. One of the top favorite formulas that I own of a lip treatment. All of these on the left side, minus these 2, are from Ole Henriksen. I have recommended Ole Henriksen lip balms till the sun don't shine, okay? The problem is they have fallen, and I get this, but like they've fallen into the, we have a product that's doing well, let's make it in every single shade, which I'm fine with because most of the time I end up enjoying the shades. But what I'm not okay with is when it starts to turn into a full gimmick. And that's what's happened with this extension. These are called chillers, and they're literally just sheer like nothing burgers lip treatments that have menthol in them. This one is in the scent Capri Cocoa. It smells like a lime coconut, and it's just a clear lip balm, you guys. Like, if you have any, and I mean any, of the Ole Henriksen clears, or any clear lip balm at all, you don't need this. One that you like. It smells incredibly strong, much too strong for me, like, whoo! And it has a cooling sensation to it. It's not going to bring life to your lips. It's not going to plump them. It's just a cooling sensation. So if you like it, find a shade that works for you in that formula and skip these little freaky ones that are chillers. All right, we're pretty much done here. However, this is new from One Size. This is their Oil Sucker Liquid Blotting Paper Spray. And this is not a setting spray, it's a reset and refresh spray. So reset and refresh with this mattifying and blurring spray designed for touch-ups without makeup disruption. I tried this and I have a short on it. This is incredible. This is so cool, you guys. When I was oily, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I was blotting my skin in my office like every hour, which actually can lead to more oil being created, which is why I was so oily, because I was constantly trying to pull the oil out of my skin. So I would have used something like this every single day. This is so cool. It also comes in a mini size, and essentially what it does is looks like you just powdered your skin without having to add any powder to it, which if you have your makeup on for a long time and you don't want to go in and add another layer of makeup to refresh it, that's where this comes in. I would instead go in with a sponge, you know, pat out my little lines, maybe add a little bit more concealer and blush, and then instead of using powder, I would do this. I'm gonna put it on for science and to show you, but my makeup is very new. There's not a lot to work with, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And I also have a short on this product. So I'm gonna hold this in front of my face so you can see a half version. This sprays crazy. It is so intense. I'm assuming because of the ingredients in here, but they want you to do it in sweeping motions. Yeah, to me, you can see that it is more of a mattified finish than this side. I love this. I think that it is super unique. I'm gonna do the other side too so you can. I mean, it sprays your ass, you guys. Holy shit. It's not a light spritz, okay? It's a spray. But it works. It helps mattify your makeup. It makes it look soft, cloud-like. It makes it look like you just did a fresh powder without any powder, which I think is so freaking cool. I think that Patrick Starr is an innovator of our time and just needs to keep making sprays because he knows what the hell he's doing. I don't know that I'm gonna use that very often, again, because my skin is so dry right now, but if I'm out for a long time, I will certainly put the mini in my bag and use it, like if I'm out at the bars or whatever. So, when am I out at the bars? I have a baby. I haven't been to the bars in a year. All right, let's do our final wrap up. So what do you need, what do you not need, and what is like an absolute fail? What you definitely need, well, first of all, obviously the Bloom Cream. Thank you again to Peak Me 1802 for sponsoring the beginning of this video. It's part of the reason why my makeup looks so good. Do you need the, let's break it down by needs, not needs. Absolute fucking must-haves, and if you don't buy this, don't follow me. Just kidding. Patrick Ta Concealer. If you're like me, I guarantee you will like this. When these blushes come out from Versed, just trust me and thank me later. You will love them. Nice to haves, okay? Nice to have. The Kosas blushes, I think they're really beautiful, but you might have something similar in your collection already, a multi-stick. But the shades are beautiful. The Weston Atelier Bronzing Balm, again, really beautiful, really, really expensive. The About Face highlighter, nice to have if you're someone who likes an innovative product. And then the concealer from Ilia, I would say, again, like if you are a oily person, this is a must-have. And the Refy skin tint, also nice to have, maybe not nice to have. It's a little bit uninspiring. Oh, also must-have, the Kofi. The Kofi. If you're looking for like a new sort of glow mist, like similar to Rhode, try this one out. Honestly, there's a lot I liked here, you guys. If you are oily, this is so freaking cool and I highly recommend you try it out. Highly, highly, highly. What I think you can skip for sure, if you like longevity in your lip products, skip the Merit unless you have a shade in here that you feel is perfect for you or could be used as a multi-stick option. Or if you don't mind that it comes off quickly. Skip these Fenty bronzers. They are so orange and kind of hard to blend. And definitely skip the Ole Henriksen Palp Reserve Lip Treatment Chillers. Incredibly unnecessary. I'm so happy to be back doing reviews. That was so fun. I clearly need to do this every single month. Let me know if you end up purchasing any of these. I'll have everything linked down below. And again, thank you to Beekman1802. I'll be back soon. I want to do another fragrance roundup because it seemed like you guys really liked the Skin Sense video. So let me know if you like my fragrance content. I'd love to do more of that. And I'll be back soon with more updates on future shade expansions for B and Rudy. So stick around. I love you guys so much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.